Welcome everybody to Nick's Amiibo League. This is a league of Amiibos where all 48 of my Amiibo compete in a ginormous tournament. This is nothing like Amiibo March Madness. It's not like one big tournament. So, what's going to happen? The whole point of Nick's Amiibo League is that all the Amiibo are split into groups, and they will take each other on in a round robin. And the best fighters from that round robin will move on to the playoffs. You will see that all 48 of my Amiibo were divided into 7 groups. And I also divided these Amiibo into 3 separate conferences: the West, the East, and the Assorted. The reason why they're assorted is because they're not Smash Series Amiibo. So they're non-Smash Amiibo, but they still work in the game. Anyway, let's go ahead and introduce the groups. Let's start off with the Western Conference, where we have 3 divisions in the West Conference. We have the Northwest, the Central West, and the Southwest. Let's start by introducing the fighters in the Northwestern Division. We have Mario, Yoshi, Peach, Luigi, Donkey Kong, and Bowser. On to the Central West, we have Diddy Kong, Rosalina, WarioWare, not to be confused with the other Wario amiibo I have, Ness, Pikachu, and Link. On to the Southwest. Last but not least, in the Southwestern Division, we have Kirby, Samus, Zelda, Bowser Jr., Dr. Mario, and Fox. And that does it for the Western Conference. Now over to the Eastern Conference. Now, the Eastern Conference is exactly like the Western Conference. It's split into 3 different divisions: the Northeast, the Central East, and the Southeast. Let's go ahead and introduce the fighters in the Northeast. In the Northeastern Division, we have Villager, Lucas, Falco, Captain Falcon, Mega Man, and Rob. In the Central East, we have Pac-Man, Pit, Olimar, Little Mac, Ike, and Lucario. And now, last but not least, in the Southeast, we have Jigglypuff, Wolf, Ganondorf, Wii Fit Trainer, Marth, and King K. Rool. And that does it for the Eastern Conference. Now over to the Assorted Conference. Now, I know what you may be thinking. There's 2 shelves of Amiibo. That does not mean they are split up into 2 separate divisions. They are one whole conference because there's only 12 fighters in this one. The other 2 conferences had 18, so I decided that instead of having them all fight each other, I was going to split them up into 3 separate groups of 6. But this conference only has 12 Amiibo, so I decided to make it every Amiibo for themselves in the Assorted Conference. So, let's introduce the fighters here in the Assorted Conference. We have Meta Knight, Daisy, Isabelle, Wario, Yan Yoshi, Mario 30, Silver Mario, Gold Mario, King DDD, Inkling Girl, Inkling Squid, and Inkling Boy. That is every single fighter in Nick's Amiibo League. Now we shall explain how the show is going to be run. Okay, so here's how this tournament works. Here's how the league works. So, what you see here is a round-robin table. It's going to be an 11-week round-robin in which every fighter in the division takes each other on twice. Now, you may see that week 11 is empty. That is because after the Amiibo take each other on twice, there's going to be one last week in which they take on random opponents. The opponents in the division, in which in week 11 there will be one final fight for all of the Amiibo in the division, and their opponents will be randomized. But other than that, it's the Amiibo are going to face each other twice. And that's the same for for the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. Now, for the Assorted. In the Assorted Conference, the Amiibo will only take each other on once. They are only going to take each other on once. Because if I did it twice, then the season would last twice as long. Each fighter will take each other on once. And anyways, in all of the round robin tables, you can see statistics and standings. The statistics, the fighters are going to be ranked based on how many matches they win and how many matches they lose. You see a column that says diff, that's the differential. That's the difference between wins and losses. And you'll see another column here, F4A, that means free for all. I'll get to that right now. So, the free for all. This will give fighters points based on how well they do in free for alls. So, what's going to happen is that in the Western and Eastern conferences, all 6 fighters in their division will fight in one big match every Friday. Every Friday, we're going to have free-for-all Fridays. And the results that the fighters get in each fight, they will be given points based on how well they do and how they finish. First place will get 5 points. Second will get 4 points. Third will get 3 points. Fourth will get 2 points. Fifth will get 1 point. And if you finish in last, you get 0 points. You don't get any. And this is the total. This column here will keep track of the totals for all 11 weeks. They will do a free-for-all fight every week on Friday. And as for the Assorted, it's the same concept, except they will be fighting in randomized groups of 4. And those randomized groups will be determined on how the round-robin schedule is. Like, for example, Meta Knight, Silver Mario, Daisy, and Gold Mario, they're the first 4 who will fight because they are the first 4 at the top of the table, and then the middle 4 will fight, and then the bottom 4 will fight. And then they will be given points based on the results. First will get 3 points, second will get 2 points, third will get 1 point, and last will get 0 points. And now we head over to the next phase in this tournament, the playoffs. The fighters that move on to the playoffs. So basically, how the playoffs are going to work is we have the conference division winners in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. Those are the fighters that finish in first in each of the divisions, plus 2 wild cards, which the wild cards, those are the 2 best fighters who did not win their division. That is how it's going to work. And as for the Assorted, let's head back over here. As for the Assorted, the top 4 will move on to the playoffs. And now let's check out the playoff bracket. Ignore those names there. That's just part of a formula that I'm doing. The playoffs, you'll see that we have wild cards. There will be a Western wild card and an Eastern wild card. There are going to be 2 wild card games. Now that's just going to be one and done. Whoever wins will move on. And then we have the next round over here for the West and East. And they will be seeded based on how well they did. The division winners and the wild card. The wild card will always automatically get the 4 seed, but the division winners will all get seeded based on their results. And the winners of those will move on to the conference finals. The winners of these matches, I forgot to mention, all 4 of these series in the first round are going to be best of 5, which means the first to win 3 games will move on to the finals. We'll move on to the conference finals. And then the conference finals will be the winners of these 2 matches here and these 2 matches here. They will duke it out to see who will win the conference. And then we move on. The 2 conference winners will take each other on in one final fight. And then whoever wins that, I forgot to mention the conference finals will be best of 7. And the finals between the West and East, that will also be best of 7. Both of these series are going to be best of 7, which means first of 4 wins will move on to the championship. And now over to the assorted. This one is far more simple. The first round here is going to be best of 5. The first to win 5 games, 3 games. The first to win 3 games will move on here to the assorted conference final. And whoever wins that, this will be a best of 7. So that means first to 4 games. They will move on here. And the 2 winners of the assorted conference and the West and East will take each other on in a best of 9 series. That means the first one to win 5 games will move on. The first fighter to win 5 games will be the champion, the grand champion. And then after that, the season will be over. So yeah, that's how this tournament is going to work. As for the schedule of how each video is going to go up, well, on Sundays, we will do the Western Conference round robins. And then for the Eastern Conference matches, we'll do those on Mondays. And then Thursdays, we will have the assorted conference matches. And then on Fridays, we will do all the free-for-all matches. So that is how this tournament is going to work. And then once the playoffs start, it'll be every day. We'll be doing the playoffs every day after that. When the regular season ends, the playoffs will be every day. But during the regular season, we'll be doing the Western Conference matches on Sundays, the Eastern Conference matches on Mondays, and the assorted conference matches on Thursdays. And then on Fridays, we will do the free-for-all matches. It'll be free-for-all Friday. So that does it for this trailer. I hope you guys look forward to when the season starts next week. And if you're watching this when the season's already started, then I hope you enjoy it. That's it for me, guys. Good night.